where the blade was oath, where castles loomed, where silence rode in armor. This is Iron and Ash, the Knight. The world after Rome fractured. Roads broke, towers fell, and from the ruins came new kings of dust and fear. Power became local. Kings were few, warlords many. Land was law, and to hold it, men turned to steel. From the 700s to 1400s, the knight emerged. First a rider with spear, then a sword-bearer of code, then a ghost in ceremony. Knights emerged as a specialized class of mounted warriors in the early medieval period. They rode war horses, wielded powerful weapons, lances, swords, axes. They were the armored elite of the battlefield. Speed and shock was their strength. The first knights rode for Charlemagne, crowned emperor in 800. He needed cavalry to crush Saxons. He offered land for loyalty, created the feudal bind. The stirrup had arrived from the east, a simple tool, but it changed war. Let men fight on horseback with both hands, and made knights possible. They were not nobles yet. They earned it in blood. They fought with lance and sword. They pledged to lords and bent to kings. Knighthood was forged in dirt, in borderlands, in endless feuds. Armor was not status. It was survival. Becoming a knight took years. A boy began as a page, then became a squire. He learned horsemanship, combat, honor. He served a knight, polished armor, studied scripture, practiced with sword and lance. A final ceremony marked his rise. A sword tap, a sacred oath. A child became steel. Knighthood evolved, no longer brute force alone. Chivalry emerged, a code of honor, loyalty, courtesy, bravery. Protect the weak, serve the just. It was part truth, part theater, a mirror for kings and poets alike. Then the church stepped in, gave divine weight to violence, preached the peace of God, to protect widows, children, monks, to sanctify slaughter. The church built the myth. Penance became mission. Holy war became holy office. Steel anointed by incense. The battlefield became liturgy. The Crusades began in 1095. Urban II summoned knights to free Jerusalem. What followed was not just conquest. It was theater. Blood washed in prayer. In this fire, the Templars rose. Founded 1190, a monk military hybrid. Sworn to poverty. Sworn to secrecy. But their oaths ran deeper. Some say they guarded relics. Others say they hid knowledge. Alchemy, astronomy, psychedelic rites. Their chapel geometry held more than prayer. The Grail appears here, not a chalice, but a cipher. Introduced by Chrétien de Troyes in 1180s, a test for the pure, a symbol of transformation. It was not blood they sought. It was vision. The Grail was not found. It was accessed through ordeal, through altered states. Some say the Eucharist hid more. Wine laced with vine, bread infused with fungus. Holy water turned to portal. Entheogens masked in ritual. Templars accused of heresy in 1307. Burned by Philip IV, not for greed alone, but for secrets, for sacraments the church did not control. Their order dissolved, but their story grew, buried in Freemason rites, encrypted in Rosicrucian symbols, disguised as fiction. Military orders. During the Crusades, new brotherhoods formed. The Hospitallers, the Teutonic Knights, faith and sword, bound in one. Guardians of pilgrims, warriors of relics. Temples became fortresses. Hospitals became barracks, faith sharpened to a blade. The legendary Arthur. Some scholars believe Arthur may have been a real warrior leader in the 5th or 6th century, defender of Britain against Saxons. Early Welsh poems named him unmatched in bravery. At Badon Hill, he triumphed. At Camlan, he fell. His sword, Excalibur, a masterwork. Roman steel with Celtic awe. Merlin, his advisor. No wizard, an engineer. Illusionist, strategist, his court, a command council, his round table, a code of unity, his myth, a banner of hope. Even if not real, he was real enough to inspire. He was the warlord between worlds, not crowned by God, but forged in chaos. His world was post-Roman, his tactics, borrowed from empire, his rituals, half Druid, half Christian, his grail, a metaphor, not for blood, but for mind. The dragon, trauma, ego, pagan fear. The maiden, the anima, the prize, the locked ideal, the tower, the self, or prison, or psyche, the castle, a constructed VR space, world of symbols, the wizard, the engineer, the alchemist, the manipulator, a sword, a line of code, a channel, a circuit. In war, they led the charge, horse and iron, thunder and lance. In peace, they enforced law, collected taxes, guarded borders, served lord and crown. Knights needed practice. Jousts became trial. Tournaments became stage. Armor gleamed. Crowds roared. A festival of pageantry. Dance of death without war. The 12th century birthed chivalry. Not just code of war, but of courtly love. Poems replaced oaths. Tournaments replaced raids. Knighthood became theater. Armor became pageant. Still deadly. Still heavy. But now romantic. An image exported. Spain had El Cid. Rodrigo Díaz de Vivar died 1099. Warrior for both Muslim and Christian kings. His corpse was armored and mounted. To win one last battle, France had Joan, teenage peasant, claimed visions from saints, led armies, burned at the stake 1431, canonized later. The church killed her, then sanctified her. Scotland had Wallace, fought England, executed in 1305, became martyr. His myth grew. Sword outlived flesh. Robert the Bruce ruled after. Won at Bannockburn 1314, died 1329. His heart carried on crusade. By James Douglas, Knight of Terror, known as Black Douglas. England had William Marshal, son of a traitor, champion of 5 kings, fought duels, held castles, saved dynasties. Died 1219, buried in Temple Church. Called the greatest knight, Sir Henry Percy, Hotspur of the North, born 1364, feared on the battlefield, led rebellions, immortalized by Shakespeare, fell in 1403. Gunpowder arrived. The musket shattered steel. Cannons breached castles. Knighthood declined, a relic of a fading era. Changing warfare made them obsolete. Armor slowed. Horses scattered. Nobility became bureaucracy. Knighthood became title, not terror, but the symbol survived. It moved to orders, the garter, the golden fleece, then to Freemasons. Templar fragments hidden in ritual, myth embedded in handshake. It slipped into secret societies, Masonic halls, Rosicrucian texts, ties of silk instead of steel, oaths sworn in shadows, temples mapped in diagrams. The knight became title, sir without sword, legacy without lance, but still a badge, still an echo. The rituals mutated, still robes, still rites. But now metaphors, sword replaced by scepter, armor replaced by suit. The grail became data, the relic became login, the order became mod team, the banner became avatar, the castle became server farm, the knight returned online, in hoodie, in alias, guarding systems, pen testing walls, encrypting belief, white hats, cyber paladins, wielding code not claymore, patching vulnerabilities, hunting exploits, banishing bots. A shield once bore heraldry, now it's antivirus. A firewall once stone, now script. The code is the castle, the breach, the siege. Oath became terms of service. Excalibur became firewall. Dragon became malware. Round table became forum. Scroll became scroll bar. Holy water became blue light. And still, before war, the ritual remains. The breath held. The system blessed. The code deployed. The charge begins. They kneel before no altar, only the interface. They serve no king, only cause. They seek no grail, only truth. The knight persists, through fiber, through fire, through memory, through myth. He is the blade that does not rust. He is the protocol that never breaks. He is the oath remembered. He is iron and ash,